These are the best Mexican Spanish words and phrases if you want to impress Mexicans. Número uno, ¿qué onda, güey? Arguably the most common word or, phrase in Mexican Spanish. Now, I like to say, before we see any more of these words, please understand that you should only really use these with people that you know and trust. If you say that to a stranger, they're not going to like that. You might be able to say ¿qué onda? And get away with it, but adding the way in there is very informal and can be very rude if you do not know the person. So just take that into account. Pretty much all of these should be used with people that you know and trust. So, ¿qué onda, güey? What's up, dude? You're going to hear the word güey all the time in Mexico. And we have two different spellings. You can say güey like this or güey with the diptongo ahí. And honestly, most people write it like this simply because it's easier to write than this. Okay? Now, la segunda palabra es pedo. Okay? Now, the word pedo in Mexico means probably close to 1 billion different things. Okay? Pedo originally means fart. Okay? That is the standard translation for pedo. But pedo can mean many different things. For example, it can mean drunk. Estoy pedo. I am drunk. It could mean que pedo. Que pedo. Like, what's up? Now, that could be viewed as a good what's up or a bad what's up, depending on the tone. So I could say, que pedo, wey? What's up, bro? Or I could say, que pedo, wey? And that means, what's up, man? You got a problem? Okay? Pedo can also just mean a problem. Ah, no, que pedo, esto es un pedo. This is a problem, okay? There are many different uses for the word pedo, okay? It can mean fart, drunk, problem, okay? And many different things here in Mexico. Chido, this means cool. Now, in the entire Spanish-speaking world, you can use the word genial and anyone will understand you, and that just means cool or great. Genial. But in Mexico, we use the word chido for cool. Okay, so que chido, how cool, awesome, okay? Que chido. Now, this one you can use with anyone. This means comper or porfa, okay? Comper means con permiso, aka excuse me. So let's say you're trying to get by someone, you say, ay, comper, excuse me, okay? Now, you can just say con permiso or permiso, but making that little cute phrase of comper makes you sound way more local, okay? Same thing with porfa, okay? You have por favor, meaning please, but you can just shorten it up and say porfa, meaning please, okay? Once again, just makes you sound a bit more local. Número 5, neta. Neta, meaning for real or the truth, okay? So, for example, I could say, la neta me caes bien, for example. The truth is, or for real, I like you, you're cool, okay? And then I could respond to you, neta, like really, for real, okay? So this could be used as a statement, but it can also be used as a question, okay? No manches, used all the time here in Mexico. Now, we have two different versions of this phrase. We have no manches, which is the less vulgar version, and we have no mames, which is the vulgar version. I don't recommend you use this. However, no manches is used all the time, literally meaning no way or get out of here. No manches, güey, ¿en serio? Like, no way, seriously? Or get out of here, seriously? Okay, so no manches, okay? No manches, güey, used all the time here in Mexico, okay? Next is güero, literally meaning someone who is light-skinned or fair-skinned. However, here in Mexico, pretty much everyone is considered a güero, even if you have the darkest skin on the planet. So you're going to be walking around on the street, and someone's going to say, pásele güero, ¿qué le damos? Pásele güero. Okay, basically just meaning, come over here, güero, come over here, white-skinned person. It's very weird, but it is very common here in Mexico, and this is not viewed as a derogatory thing. It is just a way to say friend or person, okay? Güero, it's used all the time. So güero for a male, güera for a female. ¿A poco? Meaning, really? Or seriously? ¿A poco? Like, oh, really? I didn't know that. ¿A poco? Okay, so you could say neta, right? Neta, for real? Seriously? Or you could say ¿a poco? Really? Or you could say something like ¿de veras? Really? Or ¿en serio? Seriously? Okay, so those are all different ways that you can say that, okay? ¿A poco? Which is used more? I think maybe ¿a poco? Neta is a little bit more informal, but they're both used semi-frequently here in Mexico. All right, número 9, chela, okay? Instead of saying cerveza, you can say chela, meaning beer. This is the most common use of the word here, but you can also say cheve, which from my understanding is used more in the north of Mexico. So you could say vamos a tomar unas cheves or vamos a tomar unas chelas. Remember that in Mexico, the verb tomar is used for to drink instead of the verb beber, okay? Número 10, achis. Achis is used when you are surprised by something. Achis, like, oh, wow, achis, okay? Like, let's say there, I don't know, a rat comes out of the street and say, achis, achis. A funny phrase that you can use that will make you sound very, very local is achis, achis los mariachis. Achis, achis los mariachis, when you're expressing surprise, okay? So someone could say something to you really crazy, and you're like, no way, achis, achis los mariachis, or just achis. Next, X, literally meaning X. However, X just means whatever. So, ¿te gustó la comida? Did you like the food? X, regular, whatever, normal. X, okay? So, if someone is texting you and they're from Mexico and they literally just type the letter X, that's what they're trying to say to you. X, whatever, regular, X, okay? Número 12, órale, used all the time here in Mexico. And this is also used to express surprise. So, amigo, acabo de ganar la lotería. I just won the lottery. Órale, qué bueno, right? Oh, wow, that's great. Órale, okay? Surprise, okay? This can be a good thing. I suppose it could also be a bad thing as well. A funny thing that I like to say that my girlfriend really got me saying is ora, okay? Ora is when someone tells you something kind of crazy and you're like, oh, wow, ora, okay, ora, amigo, ora. Ora or órale, okay? Número 13, ni modo. Love this one. I use it all the time. Ni modo just means, oh, well. Oh, well, too bad, bummer, ni modo, right? So, going back to this example, I could say, amigo, acabo de ganar la lotería. Órale, amigo, qué bueno. And then, a month later, I could say, amigo, ya no tengo dinero, lo gasté todo. I don't have any more money, I spent all of it. And then you could say, ni modo. Oh well, too bad, bummer, ni modo. Okay? And with this next phrase, no hay de otra, we typically use it when we're talking about working. Okay? So let's say, hoy vas a trabajar? Are you going to work today? Sí, no hay de otra. Or no tengo de otra. I don't have any other options. No hay de otra. Here, you could create the full phrase would just be no hay de otra opción, for example, but people would just say no hay de otra. So for example, hoy vas a trabajar? Sí, ni modo, no hay de otra. Yeah, too bad. That's I have no other option. No hay de otra. Okay? Número 15, chambear, meaning to work. Okay? So instead of saying trabajar, you can say chambear, which is more informal. Now, you could argue that when you use a verb like chambear instead of trabajar, chambear has a little bit more of a negative connotation to it, meaning you don't want to go to this work. Tu chamba, your job, is just a job that you have in order to make money. Okay, so voy a mi chamba, voy a chambear. Okay, I am going to work. And the next phrase, and we're going to have some more, so stick around to the end, a huevo, also viewed as I don't want to say vulgar, but, definitely informal. Basically just meaning hell yeah, a huevo, okay? You could also translate this as heck yeah or whatever, but a huevo, okay? So it's a good thing, all right? A huevo vamos a comer unos tacos. Yeah, we're going to go eat some tacos, for example. Or, ¿quieres ir a comer tacos? A huevo. Yes, I do. You also say a huevo que sí, which means hell yeah, or a huevo que no, meaning hell no. Before we move on to the next words and phrases, make sure to click the link in the video description. If you're interested in learning more Spanish with me, you can click and join our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Our goal is to help you have a 10-minute conversation in Spanish in 90 days without feeling unconfident. So check it out by clicking the link in the video description. All right, número 17, hueva. We're continuing with the theme of eggs here. Hueva is when you don't want to do something. For example, que hueva, okay, like, really, que hueva, I don't want to do that. Like, basically speaking, you feel lazy and you don't want to do something. Or, eso da hueva. Like, that, literally, that gives egg, female? The idea here is like, really, I don't want to do that. I don't even know if there is a direct translation into English, but it basically just means that you don't want to do something. Que hueva. I don't want to do that. Que hueva. Arre, meaning okay or all right. This is used more in the north of Mexico, so you could say something like arre viejo, which is like all right man, or sounds good, okay? You don't really hear that in Mexico City or more the south of Mexico, but in the north this is definitely used, meaning all right or okay. Arre, okay? 19, mande, okay? This is coming from the verb mandar, meaning to command or to send. Mande in Mexico means what? So if you didn't hear something, you are literally saying, command me? Mande? What? So mande is technically a formal usted command. And from my understanding, this comes from when the Spaniards came and they conquered in Mexico, and the native Mexicans would say to the Spaniards, literally, command me, okay? This is slowly being used less and less in Mexico, but of course it is still used. In my opinion, it's better to use a phrase like como, meaning what, or also que. If you're speaking with someone you don't know too well, use como. Sounds a bit more formal, but here in Mexico, you can also say mande. So if someone says something to you and you didn't hear what they said, you can say mande, and they'll tell you, okay? Paro, this means a favor, okay? Oye, ¿me haces un paro? Can you do me a favor? ¿Me haces un paro? Okay? Híjole. This is kind of expressing like, oh, darn, oh gosh, I don't know. Híjole. For example, oye amigo, ya no puedo ir a la fiesta de tu amiga. I can't go to your friend's party anymore. Híjole, ya le dije que ibas a ir. Oh, shoot, man, or gosh, I already told her you were going to go. Híjole, okay? Agüitarse, okay? This means to get bummed out. So, for example, no te agüites. Don't get down on yourself or don't get bummed out. Like, no te preocupes, amigo. No te agüites. Todo va a estar bien, okay? Don't worry, my friend. Don't get bummed out. Don't get down on yourself. Everything's going to be okay, all right? Pistear, meaning to drink. Typically to drink a lot. Vamos a pistear. We're going to drink. 24, chale, okay? Originally, I believe this was actually a derogatory word, but now here in Mexico, it's used as bummer, basically. Chale, too bad. Kind of like saying ni modo. Oh, well, that's too bad. Here, chale. Bueno, está bien. Like, let's say you go to, I don't know, a taco place, and you really wanted tacos al pastor, but there isn't any more. You could say, chale. Bueno, está bien. Quiero 3 tacos de suadero, for example. Okay, so chale. Too bad. Bum. Okay? Compa, meaning friend. ¿Qué onda, compa? Meaning buddy, pal, friend. Coming from the word compadre. Basically just meaning friend, buddy, pal. Okay? Compa. Eres mi compa. Eres mi compadre. Or if you're talking to a girl, you could say eres mi comadre. Okay? Compadre versus comadre. Okay? Chin. Oh, this is like, oops. Oof. Chin. Like, oh, sorry. I already threw it away. Chin. Ya lo tiré. Chin. Okay? Like, oof. Oops. Okay? Aguas. Literally meaning waters, but this just means be careful or look out. Watch out. The reason we say aguas in Spanish is because back in the day, when people would throw dirty water from their window, you would yell to someone, aguas, literally, hey, there are waters, dirty waters, look out, okay? So now in the modern day, this just means look out or be careful. So if you're crossing the street and a car is coming by real fast, your friend can say to you, aguas, look out, be careful, okay? Simón, mostly used in the north of Mexico, meaning yes. My dad actually says it sometimes, and I think it's really funny, okay? Simón, yes, all right? Feria can mean the fair, but in Mexico, it can also mean money. So for example, ese güey tiene mucha feria, okay? When you see someone do this, it means that someone has a lot of money, okay? Feria, a lot of money. Same thing with the word lana, literally meaning wool, like a sheep's wool, but we can also use it for money, okay? Él tiene mucha lana. He has a lot of money. Muchas gracias por ver este video. I hope you've learned something new. Like I said, click the link in the video description to join our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hasta luego.